story in New York Times. Say Hindus find a Ganges in Queens to park rangers' dismay.
In Queens?
Ganges, Ganga River,
right.
In India. These are immigrants, Hindu immigrants, that's what they're calling, because most of these immigrants are from Caribbean islands.
Or from Guyana.
Yes, mostly from Guyana. And what is occurring here is they believe in offerings to water. You go to Hardwar and you go to Ganga River and you'll find a tremendous amount of garbage up there. It is, of course, offering to the god. Indian government is looking to clean it up too. But up here in Queens, let's face it, they have a small beach up there. Park rangers have had so much trouble. So what they did is they went and visited some of these temples and tried to understand why are they leaving all of this. It's an interesting way to look at how park rangers are trying to work with the community. So they went to the temples, and some of these temples said, you're right, and we will get the people and we'll come and clean up the beach. Right now, of course, you can't patrol the entire beach. They're not park rangers. So they're depending on the goodwill of these temples to ask the immigrants, including some of the Indian immigrants, to please stop littering the rivers.
Well, what I thought was really interesting about this article, first of all, the rangers pointed out this is a bay, not a river, so all of this litter is not going to be washed away. It kind of just sits there, and it causes more problems environmentally. But they also took, I think, a very culturally sensitive approach to this problem, like you said, by meeting with the community, and also trying to identify with people, to say that, isn't it true that in your religion, worshiping nature and taking care of nature is very important? And of course, many Hindus would say, yes, of course.
That's why they go there.
We worship the earth, we worship the water and the skies, and we care about that. So then making the environmental argument is not so difficult, to say that this is why we need to ask you to limit the things that you leave there, or get permission to bring cremated ashes to the river, because it has this negative impact on the environment that we all care about. So again, this is some common ground that they found, and they have community leaders who are very much working with them.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that happens so often. We live in Washington. There's a tremendous number of Indian American and Caribbean Hindus, so-called, and I didn't know that they are going over to Potomac River and doing this. Do you think they are?
I doubt it. I think we might have heard of it if that was indeed happening.
I have seen it, but that was many years ago. I don't know if it happens now, but it is serious. The water. If the water doesn't take it away, like you said, it's a bay, so it sits there. But even if it's a river, even if it flows, it goes somewhere.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I found a really interesting piece in The Hindu about river pollution in India and how we need to clean that up. Now, the Minister for Environment and Forests, Ramesh, has launched a new bioremediation technology project. And they're starting this project in the Bada Nala River in Ludhiana in Punjab. And basically what's going on is that there's been a lot of sewage and industrial waste that has gone into this river. And it is not a joke. It is causing major defects and disorders among children. They were even saying, kids who are needing wheelchairs, who have all these ailments, and they can trace it back to the contaminated water. So it is certainly something to be very concerned about. And so they're using a very green technology to deal with the pollution. They are introducing microorganisms, and they are harmless and indigenously found in nature, not causing any big problems, that can help deal with some of the sewage and some of the industrial waste that's found in the river.
It's very important, because I remember a couple of weeks ago I was reading a research that was done in London where they had taken samples, water samples from Delhi and Bombay, and of course some swabs from these open drains, and they found some of this bacteria that's up there that really has no cure. None of the antibiotics work on it. And that's scary, because, it's so common. Generally, when you have it in your body, it doesn't go out. But when you get it in your bloodstream, then it becomes a problem. So consequently, everybody's looking forward to it. The India cleans it up. Folks, the women have always been asking, why do women have to make sure that they take pills to avoid the pregnancy, or they need to tie their tubes not to have another child, or IUD and the others? I mean, all this falls on women to prevent pregnancies. Why not men? That's what women have been asking. Well, there is a scientist in India. His name is Guha, Sujoy Guha. He has come up with a very easy injection. It's called the injectable vasectomy. You know, vasectomy itself is a pretty serious thing to take on, because once you have vasectomy, then it's not reversible. And of course, it has a lot of side effects too. I'm sure women have a lot of side effects to deal with it, with all of those pills and the others. But this particular one, he's been working at it from last 30 years in India. He's now at stage 3. He has done some human experiments. 100% of them have been good. He tried it on the mouse first, and then he tried on rabbits, and now it's humans. And it's successful. And you know what? A lady here in Nevada who actually had a personal experience with pills and the others, she decided this is the best thing, and she was going to bring it to the market. She bought the American rights from him for $100,000. Just $100,000. Let's face it, none of the pharmaceutical industry is interested in it.
Well, why not? Why wouldn't they be investing in this research?
See, the process, the way I understand it, is injectable. In other words, the cost is the injection and the fluid and, of course, the doctor. They don't make any money when the doctor does it. They don't make any money when the injection is used. And the material in between is something that, according to the inventor, costs very little. So the pharmaceutical companies are not interested in it. USAID will be interested in it. Bill and Melinda Gates will be interested in it. Some of these other NGOs, they are really interested to make sure that in the poor countries, it does not become a problem. Folks, it's so simple. It's an injectable vasectomy. It can be reversed with another injection. Being in the Wired magazine, I feel this is ahead of time. This is good news. It's coming down the pike. In the meantime, if you're an Indian and you want to have injectable vasectomy, you go to India, because he cannot work on anyone who does not carry an Indian passport.
Well, you know, you were talking about the possibility of using this kind of technology in developing countries where maybe families are too big and they're trying to do more family planning. And so I could see that, but I think also in those countries there's such a big problem of STDs, and clearly this kind of injectable thing is not going to prevent sexually transmitted diseases, which is a huge issue. So we should be really careful in still promoting those things like condom usage that would prevent